Welcome to the kingdom. The Humble King Podcast, where real kings speak with purpose. We level up only, let's go hop it. Go hop it. Go hop it. Go hop it.
Energy affects everything. The way you think, the way you react, the way you speak to people, the way you handle stress, and even the way you see yourself is connected to your mental and emotional energy. Most people underestimate how important energy really is. They focus only on physical exhaustion while ignoring mental exhaustion, emotional exhaustion, and spiritual exhaustion. But the mind carries weight too. Every conversation you listen to affects your thinking. Every environment you stay around affects your mindset. Every piece of negativity you absorb slowly changes your perspective if you are not careful. That is why protecting your energy matters so much. A lot of people spend years surrounded by chaos without realizing how deeply it affects them internally. Constant drama, negativity, arguments, pressure, comparison, fake friendships, toxic environments, and emotional stress slowly drain peace from the mind. And when peace disappears, clarity disappears too. A distracted mind struggles to focus. An emotionally exhausted mind struggles to stay disciplined. A negative environment slowly creates negative thinking. Everything connected to your environment eventually affects your identity. That is why boundaries matter. Not every person deserves unlimited access to your life. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every argument deserves your reaction. One of the strongest things a person can learn is emotional discipline. Emotional discipline means understanding that reacting to everything around you only creates more stress internally. Some situations deserve silence. Some situations deserve distance. Some situations deserve peace instead of conflict. That is not weakness. That is maturity. A lot of people confuse peace with weakness because modern culture often encourages constant reaction. People feel pressure to respond to every opinion, defend themselves constantly, or prove themselves to everybody around them. But constantly fighting for validation drains energy. And energy is valuable. The way you spend your emotional energy affects your future more than many people realize. If all your energy is constantly spent on negativity, distraction, and emotional chaos, there is very little left for growth, focus, discipline, or peace. That is why protecting your mind matters. The human mind adapts to what it experiences repeatedly. If a person constantly surrounds themselves with negativity, fear, anger, and stress, eventually those emotions begin shaping their normal mindset. Negativity repeated long enough becomes perspective. But positivity works the same way. Discipline repeated becomes identity. Peace repeated becomes stability. Confidence repeated becomes mindset. Everything grows through repetition. That is why intentional living matters. You have to become aware of what is influencing your mind daily. The music you consume, the conversations you entertain, the people around you, the content you watch, all of it affects your mental direction slowly over time. People often underestimate how much influence environments have. A focused environment creates clarity. A chaotic environment creates confusion. And confusion makes growth difficult. Sometimes protecting your energy means creating distance from unhealthy situations. That can be difficult because human beings naturally become emotionally attached to people and environments, even unhealthy ones. But not every connection is healthy long-term. Some relationships constantly create stress. Some environments constantly create negativity. Some conversations constantly create emotional exhaustion. And eventually, a person has to decide whether staying connected is helping growth or damaging peace. Peace matters more than many people realize. A calm mind thinks more clearly. A peaceful mind handles pressure better. A stable mind makes better decisions. That is why emotional stability is powerful. Not because life becomes easy, but because emotionally stable people do not allow every problem to destroy their mindset completely. Protecting your energy also means protecting your focus. Distractions are everywhere. Social media, comparison, drama, negativity, unrealistic expectations, constant entertainment, all of it competes for attention every day. And attention is powerful. What you repeatedly focus on shapes your mindset over time. A person constantly focused on negativity begins expecting negativity. A person constantly focused on comparison loses appreciation for their own progress. A person constantly focused on distraction struggles to build discipline. Focus determines direction. That is why intentional focus matters so much. You become mentally stronger when you stop giving unnecessary energy to things that do not improve your life. Not everything deserves emotional investment. Some people waste years emotionally drained because they never learned boundaries. They try to save everybody. They try to fix every situation. They try to carry responsibilities that were never theirs to carry. Eventually, they become exhausted. That is why self-awareness matters. You must recognize when something is helping your growth and when something is harming your peace. And protecting your energy is not selfish, it is necessary. Because if your mental state constantly collapses, your discipline weakens too. Your goals become harder to pursue. Your emotional reactions become unstable. Your clarity disappears. Mental peace creates stability. And stability creates strength. Strong people are not always loud people. Sometimes strong people are simply people who learned how to stay calm in environments that once overwhelmed them emotionally. That takes growth. Growth teaches emotional control. Growth teaches boundaries. Growth teaches patience. And patience changes perspective. Some situations that once felt important eventually stop affecting you once your mindset matures. You begin realizing that protecting peace matters more than proving yourself constantly. That realization creates freedom emotionally. You stop reacting to everything. You stop chasing validation. You stop wasting energy on unnecessary conflict. Instead, you become more intentional with your time, your thoughts, and your focus. And intentional living creates clarity. Clarity helps people understand what truly matters in life, not attention, not temporary approval, not constant competition, but peace, purpose, growth, discipline, and meaningful relationships. Those things create long-term fulfillment. Protecting your energy also requires honesty with yourself. You must recognize your own unhealthy habits too. Sometimes people blame environments while ignoring the fact that their own decisions continue feeding negativity. Growth requires accountability. Accountability means recognizing what needs to change honestly without constantly blaming others for every difficulty. That level of self-awareness creates maturity. And maturity changes how people move through life emotionally. Emotionally mature people understand that peace is valuable. They stop chasing chaos. They stop entertaining unnecessary negativity. They become more selective about where their energy goes, because energy shapes mindset. Mindset shapes decisions. And decisions shape the future. Everything connects. That is why protecting your energy is one of the most important things a person can learn. Not because life will ever become perfect, but because emotional discipline creates stability during imperfect situations. And stability allows growth to continue even during stressful seasons. That is real strength, not pretending problems do not exist, not acting emotionally numb, but learning how to remain grounded even when life becomes heavy. That is the mindset behind protecting your energy. Protect your peace. Protect your focus. Protect your growth. Because the energy you protect today shapes the person you become tomorrow.
Welcome to the kingdom. The Humble King Podcast, where real kings speak with purpose. We level up only, let's go hop it. Go hop it. Go hop it. Go hop it. Go hop it.